Hello, my crafty friends. I'm back with another card featuring the Safari Smiles bundle. As you know, I normally make cards that are really quick and simple, and you can make multiples pretty easily. Today's card is going to be a little more advanced. It's a wow. I really like it. As you can see, it's absolutely stunning, but there are a lot of pieces to it, so I'm just giving you fair warning. I think it was a lot of fun to make. I would not sit down and make 5 of these, but it was fun to make one of these, and I just wanted to show you with all of the possibilities. You know, we've got the stamp set. This is the Safari Smile stamp set. Comes out May 5th. And then we have the coordinating dies that go with it, and there's just a lot of little pieces. There's grasses, there's rocks, there's clouds, and there's all the animals. So for this card, I wanted to just show all the different possibilities, like all the pieces that you could put together in one card. And I wanted to use all of the animals as well. So I'm going to set this aside. I'll put it over here, I think. And we'll go ahead and jump in and get started. I have a piece of scratch white paper, just white cardstock, and we're using Memento black ink today. Let me put this up a little. To do our stamping, because we're going to color all of our images. And I need a large elephant. I need a small elephant. I need the lions, the lion family. I need 2 of the little birds. And that is it for the black ink. We're going to come back to that piece in just a minute, because I'm going to go ahead and do the other stamping and just get all the stamping over with. So I'm going to get out some, we're going to use pecan pie or pecan pie, however you say it. And I have a piece of crumb cake that is for the card front, and I'm going to just add some little paw prints walking across the bottom of the page. How cute is that? And then we're going to set that aside for a minute. I've got a piece of Barely Blush, which is one of the new in colors, and we're going to stamp the From All of Us, since it's coming from all the animals, on this scrap piece. We're going to move that ink pad out of the way. I'm going to use some scissors, then I'm just going to cut off the end of this. And that piece is ready, so we'll just set it aside. Now we're going to do some coloring. And like I said, this card is a little more involved, so this coloring is actually going to take me a little more time than normal. So I hope you enjoy. Just get an idea of how to use all the different colors. What's really cool about this color is that I have all these neutral colors. We have blends that are just neutrals. If you didn't know that, now you do. And so I'm going to lift this up so you can see, because they have, instead of colors, they have numbers. So it's like SU 400, 800, 700, 900. Those are the ones I'm going to be using today. In addition to using those, I'm also using crumb cake, smoky slate, and Barely Blush. So let's start with the Barely Blush. I've got the dark, but I actually think I want the light. Let me get the light out. We're gonna use the light. We're using the fine point tip. And I just want to add a little bit of color to the face of the birds. And then we're gonna color in the noses. And on the noses on the lions, honestly, I think you could do the dark as well. I may go back and change it. And then we want to add, for the elephants, we're going to give them, let's use the brush end for this. We're going to add some pink to the ear. We're also going to give them a little like blush on the cheek. I'm going to go back with the fine point because I also, on this baby lion, I'm going to add some pink to the ears and kind of his cheeks too. So, all right. Then for the birds, let's finish the birds first. I'm using light smoky slate, and I'm just going to come in and add a little color to the belly of the bird, and to his wings. He is done. So while there's a lot of coloring here, I'm still trying to keep it as simple as possible. So now these colors are very tricky because to me this looks like it's gonna be like a pale skin color. And I mean, I guess it is, but I need to test to see which color this is because one of these is lighter than the other. That's the darker, so that's for the lions. That's for the other lions. So I think this is the one I used on the elephants. We're gonna go ahead and give it a try. This is the SU 800. And so I'm gonna just come in here and give the elephant some color. This is a little darker than I thought it was going to be, so I might do a little color lifting on it to make it a little bit lighter. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't just color them gray. I was just trying to be creative and just change it up a little. Like, it doesn't always have to be traditional colors. Oh my God, I'm going out of the lines. I'll show you how to fix that in a minute though. I'm trying to go too fast, and since I'm not taking my time, I'm not doing the best job coloring in the lines. Now remember, when you use the brush end, you always want to use it at a little angle, never straight up and down. Okay, so we finished the elephants. I'm going to get my color lifter out for a couple of reasons. One, because I totally went outside the line here, so I'm going to go in and use the color lifter where I don't want that color. And when it dries, that color will be gone. There we go. Then I'm going to come in with the color lifter and just do a little kind of blending, but also this will like reduce the color a little bit so that it's not quite so yellow. All right, and that helps to kind of just blend the pink in there a little bit. I might actually come back with a little more pink for the cheek, because I lost a little bit of that cheek and a little bit of the ear kind of went away too. There we go. So our elephants are done, and then we're going to work on our lions. So for the baby lion, set these aside so I could remember which was which. Okay, that's for the dark. That's the darker. Okay, so for the baby lion, we are using the SU 900. And I'm going to come in and color with the brush end for most of it, and then I'll come back with the pointed tip to kind of finish it off. So let's close that end and use the fine point tip to come in and just get the little details here. Make sure I don't go outside the lines. All right, baby lion is done. Now we're going to work on the this is the color for the lions, but before I do that, I'm going to do the lion's mane, and it's SU 400. So I'm going to come in with this and just color Be careful not to go outside the lines. All right, come back with the other end so that I can fill it in. Aren't these lions just so cute? They just look like this big happy family. It makes them look like they're like cuddly and sweet. And we're also going to do the end of his tail with the same color. Now I'm going to use my color lifter because I went outside the lines a little bit here. But also just to do a little blending. All right, and then we're going to come in with the SU 700 to finish it off. This is for the whole rest of the body of the lions. Again, we're going to use the brush end until we need to get in and do more detailed work. All right, I'm going to switch to the other end so we can get all the details here, fill in the rest. All right, and our lions are colored. I'm actually going to come back in with the Barely Blush again because I just want to darken that back up a little bit since I kind of went over it with the color of the lion. There we go. And we are done with our coloring. So what I'm going to do is use the coordinating dies to start cutting out all these pieces so that we're ready to put our card together. I've got my washi tape that I use to just hold the dies in place. You could also use the little like mini post-it notes just to help keep it from moving when you run it through the machine. These cute lions. and the little bird. All right, so I'm gonna leave the cue card for you to look at for a minute while I quickly run this through my cut and emboss machine. So we've got one little birdie, got our elephants and our lion, and then we just need to cut out one more bird and we'll be ready to assemble. Actually, need these to go with me. There we go. So I'm going to cut out the last bird. All right, so now we have all of our pieces. There's our last bird. And we are ready to start putting it together. So I'm going to maybe even zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to move this card off to the side, but I'm going to use this just because I feel like it helps to have the background. So I have a piece of cloud cover cardstock. It's a half a sheet that I've cut it in half, scored it in half. This is for our card base, and I'm going to give it a good crease. We're going to add white cardstock to the inside. This is just so you have something to write on. Just easier to see when you write on the white versus on a colored cardstock. And then we're going to add our piece of crumb cake. To the bottom of the front of the card with our little footprints that go across. And then I have all of these little pieces over here that we're going to use. So this is the die that kind of cuts out like a water puddle, but I cut it out. It's kind of muddy. And we're going to go ahead and just add that to the bottom. And we're going to add our elephants. And on all of these pieces, I don't need a lot of glue, but I'm also going to be kind of aware of where I put the glue because there may be things getting tucked behind there. So I'm not going to put the glue too close to the edge. So we've got the baby elephant. I am not using any dimensionals on this card because there's just so much going on already that I felt like the dimensionals weren't really needed. There was no need to add more dimension to this card. Okay, let's get out some of these little pieces. So it looks like I'm going to use this grass. It's going to go about right there. This grass is going to go down there. So this is Granny Apple Green. And then I used pecan pie. For some of the other grasses. I even used a little, this is Very Vanilla. So let me add these pieces first. We're gonna add this green, Granny Apple Green grass. Oh, that was a lot. We're gonna tuck it in behind the elephant's head. And then we'll add the Very Vanilla piece. By using as little amount of glue as we can, but enough to make it stick. And then down here, we'll add the Granny Apple Green grass. Tuck it behind the baby elephant. We'll add the grass that's in the pecan pie. One thing I liked about this card, and I cased this card from Stampin' Up. When this product goes live, you'll see a very similar card like this on the website, and that's where I cased it from. I was just looking for a way to use all of the animals, and so I used their example. So we've got those pieces in there. I'm gonna go ahead and figure out where I want to put the lions. And I'm going to adhere them, but I'm going to be careful about putting glue mainly at the top of them because there's a lot that gets tucked in behind them. The only dies I was gonna say the only dies I didn't use on this card were the cloud dies, but I'd be lying because I actually cut out the cloud dies in Granny Apple Green and Seafoam Green, and we're using them as rocks. So I still did use them. We've got another water puddle that's kind of a muddy water puddle that we're gonna tuck this in underneath the lions. I've got this Seafoam Green cloud that we are using for a rock. Just gets tucked here. That's what I loved about copying their example was that I don't know that I would have thought to do that if I hadn't seen them do it. Change, use the clouds as rocks. So we need this piece here. We're just gonna add a little bit of glue. And we're gonna tuck this in behind our rock, otherwise known as a cloud. Then we want to add this cloud that's in Granny Apple Green. And we're going to come in behind, I think it's this one. We're going to use this grass, which is in Pecan Pie. So we can tuck that back here. We've got a couple rocks we're going to add. So I've cut them out of gray granite and I think it's basic gray and smoky slate, I think is what I cut them out of. So we'll start with this larger rock. We're gonna add him in right here. Like I said, there's a lot of pieces that go on this card, but it really makes it worth it when it's all said and done. It just shows you how you can use all the pieces too. All right, and then we need another piece of grass. This one's going to be in Berry Vanilla. We're going to tuck that behind these rocks. And one of our birds is going to be sitting on this group of rocks. And then we just have this little cluster down here to do next. So we've got another cloud that's in Granny Apple Green. It's going to become a rock. We're going to set that. Up here. We're going to come in with another grass in Pecan Pie. Don't say I didn't warn you. There's a lot of pieces in this card. Oh, I actually probably should have done the rocks first. That's okay. I'll just stick it in here. That's going to go right there. I'll go ahead and put, this one goes behind the green, so let's go ahead and get that in there. We've got a couple more rocks to add. So we've got a larger rock that's in basic gray. We're we're gonna just put that right in here. And then we have a smaller one that's in Smoky Slate, I believe. We're gonna put that right about there. We need to add our second bird. I love these little birds, they're really cute. Be fun to like create a card with like a wire across the top, like an electrical wire or a banner or something, and then just put a bunch of these birds sitting on there like they do in real life. That would be really cute. So we're adding our bird, and then we're gonna add our words. We just have the From All of Us, and I'm gonna add a fair amount of glue only because there's a lot of layers going on here and I wanna make sure it sticks. This just comes in down here to finish it off. And that is the finished card. I hope you enjoyed. Love to know what you think about it. Have a wonderful day.